Hi, this is Mrs. Clark, and welcome to my video on arithmetic sequences. So in this video, we're going to be looking at different sequences and determining if they are arithmetic or not. And if they are, we have to do some more things. We have to find the next term, we've got to write the common difference, and we've got to write the explicit rule. First thing I'm going to do is copy down the explicit rule formula on the top of my paper here. A sub n equals d, parentheses, n minus 1, close parentheses, plus a sub 1. And I want to remember that a sub 1 is the first term, and that d is the common difference. So if the sequence has a common difference, then it is arithmetic, and then we can use this formula. So first I have to see what is the pattern, how are they changing. So when I look at this first one, 9, then 19, then 29, then 39, I can see quickly that they're adding 10 each time. So plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, next one would be plus 10 as well. So knowing that it's adding 10 each time tells us that it's an arithmetic sequence because there is a common number that they're adding every single time. So I can say this is arithmetic. So I'm going to start by writing that. Okay. Next, if it is arithmetic, do the following. Write the next term. So if I continue this pattern on and I plus 10, the next term would be 49. So there's my next term. Write the common difference. We already figured that out, but I'm going to use the letter D, and I'm going to say D equals 10. It's a positive 10 because it's adding 10. If it was subtracting 10, I would make that a negative 10. Write the explicit rule is next. I'm going to use this formula up here, fill in my 10 where the D is, and fill in my A1 with the first number in the sequence. And then I'm going to simplify it out, just like we practiced in the simplifying expressions video. So let me start by writing it here. We've got A sub n equals D, which is 10, parentheses, n minus 1, plus A sub 1. And A sub 1 is the first term, so that means the first number in my sequence is 9, so that's my A sub 1. I'm going to put plus 9 on the end here. Now, this A sub n is going to stay there. This regular n is going to stay there as well. Those are our variables, so we don't, when we're writing the rule, we don't replace them with anything. We only replace them later when we're trying to find a different term. Maybe not the next one, but one way down the line. So I'm going to recopy this A sub n equals, and then I'm going to distribute this 10 through the parentheses. 10 times n is 10n. 10 times negative 1 is negative 10. And then bring down this plus 9. I'm going to combine my like terms. A sub n equals 10n. Negative 10 plus 9 is going to be negative 1. So 10n minus 1 is our rule. I'm going to put a little box around that. It's my final answer. Got my D, my common difference, and I've got arithmetic because it is an arithmetic sequence. And I got my next term, which is 49. So I got to remember to do all of those things. I'm going to go through this checklist every time to make sure I'm doing it right. All right, let's look at the second one. If you feel confident, feel free to pause it and try this one on your own and then come back, and then maybe we'll see how you did. All right, welcome back. So if I'm looking at this second example, I see a lot of negative numbers. So it might be harder to tell what's happening. So I got to think, am I adding something to 14, or am I subtracting, negative 14, or am I subtracting something to negative 14 to make it negative 17? Well, I know that negative numbers are kind of do the opposite as positive numbers. So as these numbers get bigger, because they're negative, they're actually getting smaller. So this is going down, which means I have to subtract something from negative 14 to get to negative 17. So if I think negative 14, if I want to go down to negative 17, if you picture on the number line, you're at negative 14, you have to go to negative 15, you have to go to negative 16, and then you'll get to negative 17. So I got to go 1, 2, 3 hops to the left. So that means I'm subtracting 3. And I'm going from 17 to 20, negative 20. I'm going to go 17, 18, 19, 20. So it's another 3. Subtracting 3. 21, 22, 23. Subtracting 3 again. So this is also an arithmetic sequence. But this time, the sequence is going down. It is decreasing. It's decreasing by a common difference of negative 3. So if it's going down, then the common difference is negative, which tells me that it's subtracting. All right, so I got to write my rule. A sub n equals common difference, which is negative 3, parentheses, n minus 1, close my parentheses, plus my first term. And the first term in the sequence is negative 14. So plus negative 14. Now I've got to simplify. So a sub n equals negative 3 times n is negative 3n. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. Negative 3, oh, I don't distribute to that one, so never mind that. Done with the parentheses. Now I've got a negative 14. I'm going to bring that down, plus negative 14. And then I'm going to look at combining like terms. A sub n equals negative 3n. That's the only n term. Got to combine my 3 and my negative 14. So it's going to give me negative 11. So I'm going to write minus 11. You can put plus negative 11 if you want, but just writing minus 11 is the same thing as making this a negative 11. It just doesn't have another plus sign in between. It doesn't make a difference if you write it this way or if you write it plus negative 11. They both mean the same thing. So a sub n equals negative 3n minus 11. That's my rule. Got my common difference. So I did the rule, explicit rule, common difference, the next term. I didn't do the next term, so let's look at that. If I go from negative 23 and I got to go down 3, I'm going to go negative 24, negative 25, negative 26. So the next term will be negative 26. So I got my next term, got my common difference, got my explicit rule, and it is arithmetic. All right, last one. 18, 10, 6, 4. So it's going down. Again, it's going down. 18 to 10 is going down by 8. 10 to 6 is only going down by 4. 6 to 4 is only going down by 2. So it is subtracting every time, but it is not subtracting the same number. So that means it is not arithmetic. So I'm going to write not arithmetic. There's no common difference. The differences are actually different each time. So I'm going to write not arithmetic, and now I don't have to do any of these things because these only work for things that are arithmetic. All right, so make sure that you take this paper, glue it into your notebook right after the last one that we did with the simplifying expressions, and then go pick up practice 1 and start your work. Make sure you read the directions carefully on the practice to make sure you're doing all of the things that are being asked through practice 1. Thanks for watching.